here in St. Louis.
Good morning. How you doing?
So what was the premise of the book?
Well, the premise, as you suggested, is that more than half the country was shocked at the result of this election, that a candidate as unusual as Donald Trump, with no political experience and who said and did things along the way that would have destroyed any other candidate, was elected president. So I thought that there was a hunger to know more about Trump voters, and combing the results of the elections in the three most critical states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, I discovered this county in northeast Pennsylvania that I thought would be a useful prism through which to examine the election in more depth. That's Luzerne County in northeast Pennsylvania, where Wilkes-Barre is. And this was a traditionally Democratic county which hadn't voted Republican since 1988 for George Bush Sr. And Obama had carried the county twice, but it surged in the other direction in 2016 for Trump. And he built up such a margin in this one county that it was 60% of his victory margin in Pennsylvania. So without this one county, Trump would have lost Pennsylvania and perhaps the presidency, to the extent that Pennsylvania's demographics are similar to Michigan's and Wisconsin. So I went down there and began interviewing Trump voters, interviewed 100 or so in depth, but settled on about 12 whose stories I told in the book.
And the bottom line, Ben Bradlee Jr., the book is called The Forgotten, and the Trump voters, and you can say this whether it's in a Pennsylvania county or anywhere in the country, Trump voters feel like they are the forgotten America.
When Trump called them the forgotten people, that really resonated. They had come to feel marginalized by flat or falling wages. Changing demographics made them feel like strangers in their own land. The culture they feel is liberal, Hollywood, network television. Felt that this culture is dominant, and that it was mocking their faith and patriotism. They felt that others were cutting in line, as it were, and taking too much money from those who work and giving it to the able-bodied idle.
But that was the argument during Reagan. That was the argument during Clinton. That was the argument during Bush. That was the argument during Obama. Why did Trump able to break through? Because that was the same message Republicans and Democrats have had for a long time.
Well, you're right to a degree, but I think we have been divided in the past, but I think we've gotten more so under Trump. Trump cultivated and weaponized the resentments of his constituency. They felt forgotten, and they wanted to be heard and acknowledged, and they felt that Trump heard them while Hillary ignored them. Trump made them feel good about themselves, and Hillary made them feel ashamed, especially with that now infamous comment when she called them deplorables.
Yeah, but Donald Trump said a lot worse about a lot of other people. It's funny how they stick on deplorables, but not, John McCain's not a hero.
Well, I know. This is what's most fascinating to me about Trump, that he said and did things which would have destroyed any other candidacy, but he proved he had such Teflon that he just steamrolled his opposition by, he assigned these cruel and demeaning nicknames to his opponents, 16 opponents in the Republican primary, while warming up to face Hillary Clinton, who we called Crooked Hillary. The guy just sort of defied political reality.
The book is called The Forgotten, How the People of One Pennsylvania County Elected Donald Trump and Changed America. Ben Bradlee Jr., our guest. All right, so I get all of Donald Trump except for this one thing, the evangelical vote. Never in a million years would I ever placed money on a person to win the Republican Party who basically said he never goes to church, had 5 children from 3 different women, and was a philanderer. How did the evangelicals embrace Donald Trump?
They gave him a pass on all that because they liked him. First and foremost, he was, even though he had started out as a Democrat, a pro-choice Democrat,
right,
he came out strongly against abortion, which is a must for the evangelical constituency. And they voted for him because he had pledged to nominate a conservative Supreme Court justice. Those were the 2 main things, and he delivered on that. And Hillary was a non-starter for the evangelical constituency.
But these are the same people who voted for Obama. Obama was going to elect the same judges as Hillary, but they voted overwhelmingly for Obama.
No, the evangelicals didn't.
Well, that's true. The evangelicals didn't. You're right. But this district you looked at, right? The judges 4 years before weren't that big of a deal. All of a sudden now it's the be all end all. It's just it's a fascinating look.
Obama had hope and change, and Trump had what one local official in Luzerne County told me had knocked down the change, knocked down the door and change. These voters were in a mood to throw over the table and break some china.
Yeah. And
they didn't really know. They were willing to take a flyer on this guy without really knowing where he was going to take the country.
Yeah. Ben Bradlee Jr.
They liked him.
Yeah, that's probably a great point, and I'm sure a lot of that more insight in the book, The Forgotten, how the people of one Pennsylvania county elected Donald Trump and changed America. Ben Bradlee Jr. did a deep dive. Sir, thank you for your time.
Thank you.